Joining me now is the new NEF amateur lightweight champion, Zac Rocky Richard, who picked up a huge and very impressive victory over Mike Murray at the last NEF event. How you doing, buddy? Very good performance. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. It's been a long time since we spoke. This fight with you and Mike, for my money, it was the marquee fight of the night. Both of you guys have very good skill sets, and Mike had a lot of hype behind him. He's coming in undefeated to this fight, and you really went out there and implemented your game plan. It seemed like you wanted to get this fight to the ground, utilize your wrestling, and just kind of keep him there. Was that the game plan heading in?
Well, actually, no. The game plan was to strike with him because I probably should do more jiu-jitsu than I will. I'm going to do that before this fight camp. But the whole game plan was to stand and strike with him. He started kicking early, which I knew he was going to do. And in my head, I was like, well, if I catch a few of his kicks, take him down, he'll stop kicking me, and I think I can outbox him. But the freaking guy kept kicking me, so I just kept taking it. And then it was kind of like what Tom did to me. I just held him down. I wasn't going to risk it. I've already lost 2-3 title fights. I wasn't losing another one. So, but I thought the fight was going to pick up at some point. I had a couple of good spurts of action, but definitely wasn't the most exciting fight. But I played it safe, that's for sure.
Well, a win's a win, and you went in there and got one. I watched the fight online again, and right off the bat, you caught one of his kicks. You were down on the ground, and you kept him there throughout. He did land some shots from the ground. He went for some submissions. Did you ever feel like you were in any trouble? There was that one arm bar that seemed like maybe it could have been a little bit of an issue. Did you ever feel throughout the fight like you were in any trouble?
Not really. The arm bar was the closest, but it wasn't even the arm bar that hurt. He actually had me in a scissor. And that was like, it was perfect. Like my throat was collapsing, and I was just like, stayed calm and just caught my breath. And I knew time was short. And then I ended up like rolling out of it. But that was like another point when it first took him down. I was in Devin's corner, luckily, and he coached me out of getting out of the triangle. But besides that, I was actually really surprised. I was way nervous to be on the ground with him. And then once I got him there, it was kind of like, all right. He sweeped me a couple times, and I was like, oh. Shit, now I'm on my back. But then he tried to slam me. I was like, oh, you're doing my shit now? What the hell?
Well, again, you really went in there and kind of, I don't want to say alpha dogged him, but you kind of implemented, your game plan or just your strength on him, and were able to kind of control where the fight went. Now, as far as Mike's skill set goes, obviously, he's got a lot of great kicks. He looks phenomenal on the feeder. He did up until this point with you. Did you feel going in there? You said that the game plan was to stand and strike with him, but did you feel comfortable as the fight progressed with him on the feet or on the ground? Was there ever any times where you felt like, you know what, maybe I want to switch it up, I want to get it back to the feet? Or did you ever feel like that, or did you just feel comfortable throughout?
Yeah, well, like I was thinking the whole time, just catch his kicks and he'll stop. And like in the gym, I can like sparring, I think I'm pretty freaking great. And then I get in there and it was like I just go to the wrestling. So I was like, just get in there and fight him, and that was a game plan. So hopefully this fight I'll freaking let him go, because I think people would be pretty impressed. But no, Mike was he was a lot longer than I thought. Like at Wayne's, I was like, oh frick, this kid's a lot taller than me. But no, when he was hitting me against the cage at one point, like I took like 5 shots, and like, I mean, no disrespect for Mike, but they weren't really that hard. And then I landed like 2 punches, and you could just tell the difference. So going into the later rounds, I was like, yeah, we can stand, but it just kept going to the ground. Just took what was given to me,
Yeah. What was your corner telling you in between the fights, between the rounds? Were they telling you anything specific to try to go in and implement, or was it just stick to the game plan, as you were saying earlier?
Colton was telling me to freaking strike while I was holding him there. He's like, this isn't wrestling, you need to strike, which I watched the fight, and I was like, there was so many times I could have been just like laying him, but I didn't want to get my arm caught in triangle or something. But Devin was just telling me like to start passing his guard and getting a full mount, and he wanted me to stay on my feet too. He kept saying in between rounds. And I had a Nick Miles in my corner. He's a pretty good karate kid. He's around my age, and it was pretty cool because every time Mike would kick in all of his other fights, he would give up his back, and Nick's like, you just gotta kick his back leg. And I did it during the fight, and I like almost turned around and looked at him like, did you see that? Like, I did what you taught me, man. It was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Flows like that.
You have a huge following, Zach. I remember when you fought Fred Lear up in his hometown at Bangor, which is where I'm from. I couldn't get over how loud the chants of Rocky and Zach were for you up there. I'm sure you had a lot of people there on fight night at the Aura as well. Do you ever let the crowd, if they're displeased with where the fight is? I mean, most people like to see a fight standing and striking and knockouts, right? But
Yeah.
do you ever let the crowd's booing or chanting or whatever they're doing affect what you're trying to implement inside the cage?
Not really. Like sometimes when I'm like this short time and I start chanting Rocky, like it definitely gives me a little bit motivation to get up and slam him or something. But when people boo or just yell stupid shit, it's just like you don't even know. Like you don't know until you're in that. But this last fight, I stayed in the crowd for like the first 3 fights. Just the people in the crowd, like I was getting so irritated with the shit people were saying, like punch him, and the guy had both his arms trapped. Like I was like, dude, you don't clearly know shit. Just shut up, please. That's
Yeah.
that's the only thing I don't like about Aura is like people I feel like just get a little too intoxicated. It's like too much of a club vibe, and everyone just gets I don't know. It's a little much.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I'm excited to see what this new venue for NEF is going to look like here come their next event in
I'm
February.
so excited for Jesse Erickson and Josh Harvey. I'm so excited for that fight.
Yeah, no, that's going to be interesting. I actually heard some rumblings about an altercation there at that I guess event with Josh. Did you hear anything or see anything about that?
I something with another not Jesse, but yeah, I heard that he got an altercation with someone, and I saw that person at the airport, and they were telling me about just they got in each other's faces, nothing too crazy, but I don't know the story, so I ain't saying much.
Sure. Yeah, no worries. Well, I'm definitely excited to see Jesse and Josh step in there. I do want to talk a little bit about your last couple of fights. Before we dive into that, what does it mean to you, Zach, to officially win a belt? Because I know you kind of had a rocky road, so to speak, your last couple of fights. Now you have some gold around your waist. Is it a relief to you?
Yeah. I when I fought Fred, I mean, he won the belt before I even started training, so I probably bit off more than I could chew. So it was good though, like losing and having those 2 5-round fights, like it helped me out a lot. Winning the belt was pretty cool, but like I would definitely wish that I won it against Fred or Tom. It would have been more of nothing against Mike. Mike's has a great future, but Mike was 2-0. You know, that's the only thing that I didn't like about it. I wanted to fight Devin Corson, and that was like the dream fight. I wanted to fight for the belt, and I feel like that would have been a freaking war. So I'm still hoping to get that fight someday.
What weight class do you envision yourself, as you move forward and turn professional? Because you're the 155-pound champ right now, but you did fight Tom for the featherweight belt. When you do turn pro, do you feel like it makes more sense for you to fight at 45, or do you think 55 is going to be where you stay?
Well, I weighed in at like 153, I think, for my fight, and I probably weigh 158 right now. Okay. So I'm definitely gonna fight 145. Besides, if I defend the 55 belt from now on, if I ever go pro, which I obviously plan to, I want to get a different job so I could train more, and then hopefully maybe I could gain some muscle. So it all depends, but I definitely see 45. And if it was for like the right promotion, maybe if my mom would kill me, but I'd cut to 35 again.
Yeah, that would be, I'm sure, pretty taxing on your body. What is it, if anything, that you've learned from your last few fights? Obviously, you had that war with Fred. I mean, you lost to Tom Pagliarulo. No shame in that. He's a monster. I understand you are training with him now a little bit, and then you had to fight for reality with Miguel. What can you take from those fights? What have you learned that's made you a better mixed martial artist?
Well, going to the Fred fight, I did not do jiu-jitsu at all. I just boxed, did kickboxing, and I didn't do my cardio at all. Obviously, anyone could watch that fight and see my cardio was trash. But that fight was so cool to me because right before it started, I've never been in the center of so much loudness and chaos. And I was like, okay, I want this for the rest of my life. Like, this is what I want. The Tom fight was just so frustrating for me. In wrestling, I was very inconsistent. The kid I lost to my junior year in states, I tech fouled and pinned, and then he beat me in overtime in the finals. Like, I had bad days very often, and when I fought Tom, my legs were just trash. I just felt not into it. If you watch the fight, it's like it's not even me out there. No anger behind me. Not saying that if I would have beat Tom, because Tom's a stud, but I just wish the fight definitely went a different way. But now I know what I need to do before a fight to like feel right. I definitely been in a better mindset in my last 2 fights. Going into the Miguel fight, never felt so great. I was like, I'm gonna smash this kid. Then I just dove in a little triangle, but
And that was the fight down at Mohegan Sun for Reality, and you're getting another chance to fight down there here soon. That's on January the 4th against Randy Francis. We'll dive into that here in a little bit, but I do want to ask about one of your most recent fights, Eric Tainter. I talked to Chris Young very in depth before that fight started, and he made no bones about it that Eric is a significant underdog going in to fight you. I've trained with Eric a little bit. I know he's a pretty thick, rugged guy, but he doesn't have nearly as much experience as you do. And in that first round, it was a little surprising to me. It seemed like maybe he had you in a little bit of trouble. Is that accurate to say? And then when you did slam him and knock him out, how did that come about? Because it looked like he had you in an armbar, and maybe you just picked him up and just dropped him on his head.
Yeah. I hate I like being the underdog and fighting like the better dude. I like being in that position for sure. So I was super nervous. I came off the loss to Tom. I tied with Fred. I lost to Miguel. I was like, if I lose to this kid, what is my life right now? My career is gonna be screwed. Even though it's amateur, in my head, it would have been a huge setback. And then I knew Chris was saying that he was gonna be tough and everything, and he seemed it when I saw him at weigh-ins. He just had no emotion. When the fight started, he instantly went for a takedown, and I was just so confused. I was like, what the hell? And I thought that because I creeped his Facebook and it was all boxing stuff, so I thought he was gonna stand. And then I landed some good shots. I had some good ground and pound, and then I had a choke and I slipped off and he got in the mount. And then the whole entire crowd went wild when he was in mount. And I thought he was gonna start smashing me, and I put my hands up, which was stupid. But luckily he went for that arm bar. Mm-hmm. And I for the longest time I never did jiu-jitsu, so I just had to learn how not to have Devin and Colton and all them break my arms in practice. So I just rolled with everything. And same with Mike, he put me in an ankle lock at the end of the fight, and I just rolled with it because I don't know how to defend it. So we're just gonna hold on. And then I heard the clackers go off, and pretty much every time I hear the clackers go off, I just give it my best. So I picked him up and I slammed him. And they always say, hit him until the ref stops. And I could see he was out, and I felt awful. But I was like, well, the ref hasn't stopped it yet. So
yeah.
But then I felt bad after I celebrated. I didn't realize how he was out for a second. It wasn't cool. But I'm glad he's all right. And he's a tough kid for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, you got the win, so you're ecstatic. You want to celebrate. But did you kind of feel mixed emotions when they brought, everyone came in to try to take care of him? It looked like it was more serious than it ultimately was. Were you kind of nervous at one point?
Oh, yeah. It was so many things are going through my head. I have no problem with the kid. I don't want to hurt him badly, obviously. I mean, I want to win the fight. Knockouts are cool. But it was I was celebrating, then I'm drawing a blank, but the announcer for the NEF was like, hey, he's like, I think they want you to get out of the cage because this isn't good. Yeah. Then I was downstairs, a good couple minutes went by, and then finally you could hear the crowd clap, and it was ooh.
Yeah.
That was scary. But yeah. I saw him downstage right after, and he was fine and came up to me and we shook hands, and definitely a crazy experience. I haven't had that, so.
Well, class act by you to obviously have that emotion and caring for someone, because at the end of the day, although you're going in and punching someone in the face, it's all about sportsmanship and having that respect for the other opponent. That's what mixed martial arts is all about. So tip of the cap for you as far as that goes. Let's talk a little bit about this upcoming fight, because it's January the 4th. You got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming right up before that. So that's when most people are gluttonous and they're eating and drinking and being merry. You're going to have none of that, right? You're going to have to be very disciplined leading up to this fight.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty used to it because wrestling season is right around this time. So I never got to eat Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas cookies or anything like that. And I'm pretty much a vegetarian. I cheat on chicken every once in a while now. So the junk food is not going to bother me that much, because once you do eat it, it just kind of feels like I sneak a Butterfinger in every once in a while, though, because they're my weakness. But not too worried about it, I guess. But I'll be pouting, I'm sure, when the time comes.
Well, as long as you get the victory, that's all that matters. That pout will be turned upside down. You have a big smile on your face. Now, Randy Francis, his opponent, his record isn't quite like yours. You have a much better record than he does. What does he do well, and what kind of game plan do you think he's going to try and implement come fight night against you?
Well, to be honest with you, I was so focused on my Mike Murray fight, and I've known about this Randy Francis fight for probably a month or so, maybe a little bit longer. And I just watched his fights like 2 nights ago. He definitely stands and bangs, and he has pretty good control against the cage, but I don't think his takedowns are anywhere near mine, and I don't think that he'll be able to take me down. And I feel like it's going to be kind of like the Mike Murray fight, and I'm going to be able to control where it goes all the time. No disrespect against Randy. I mean, maybe he'll prove me wrong, but I think that I'm a little bit more athletic and faster and hit harder. But that's just from the videos I've seen, so we'll see.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, this will be your second time fighting at the Mohegan Sun. You did tell me earlier that the fight against Miguel, you took on 2 weeks' notice, and you were winning that fight right up until you got caught. How excited are you to fight at such a big venue? I was just there for the Bellator events a couple weeks ago, and what an amazing place to hold fights. I mean, you must be pretty pumped to get back in there this time, get a victory.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because like the locker rooms, you have a lot more room to warm up, and it's like you kind of feel like you made it a little bit more, you know, when you're pulling up and you see the Mohegans on towers and you're like listening to your music. You're like, all right, shit. I mean, I got a 2-week notice last time, but I sold like 40 tickets and it was pretty cool. So I'm hoping to bring down a big crowd. I mean, it doesn't fill up as much as the Bellator fights, but it's a pretty good crowd there, and I'm so excited. And I love the big cage. It's fun. So I'm excited for the lights and the cameras, and it's nice.
Yeah, very cool. Hopefully, I'll be able to make it down to watch your performance there for reality in early January. But the NEF event, the next NEF event, will be the following month in February. Are you planning on defending your 155-pound belt then?
No, but I think that Matt's gonna be finding an opponent for me by then, and we'll be announcing the fight then for April. But I'm probably gonna take some time off and work on training, and then that might be one of my last fights if I win the next two. And
Okay.
go, but we'll see. I'm still pretty new to the sport. I mean, I've wrestled my whole life, but that's really it. So we're just taking off what we can.
Now, you mentioned Devin Corson earlier. Is that the guy you think makes sense? Would that like to be? Would you like that to be your next fight for NEF?
Yeah, well, we were supposed to fight before me and Mike, and it was actually supposed to be like a 4-man tournament. That fell through. Sorry. And then it was supposed to be me and Devin, and it was short-lived. It was like a day or two, and then he had, I think it was work commitments or something. Me and Devin have sparred together a few times. He actually broke my cheekbone just in practice. We were good friends. We're still friends, I think. But it would be a good fight. No, nothing against him. I just think it'd be cool. Everyone would like to see it, I think. But
yeah, definitely. Me included. Sign me up.
I think it'd be a good one.
100%. I
it'd be a good pass. You know, we slam each other around a lot too in practice. I mean, sparring's a lot different, but it'd be good. I think I'd be excited for it.
Well, I'll mention to Matt that I think that makes sense too. So sign me up. You, Devin, come April. I think that makes a lot of sense. Again, Zac, congratulations on winning the belt, man. Long time coming, so very well deserved. I'm happy to see you get that W. Always a pleasure to have you join me. Before I let you go, if there's anybody you want to thank or any sponsors you have, the floor is yours.
Well, I don't have a list of me right now, so I don't want to miss anyone. But I just want to thank my coaches, Devin, Colton, Nick, Jamie, Keegan. Keegan puts in a lot of work with me, and I really appreciate him a lot. I've been working with Evo a lot too, and they're always welcoming, and so is Lozon. So I like to thank all them. And like Tom, who friggin' beat me, and he still works with me, so that's cool. I got people like that surrounding me. All my big sponsors like Top It Off Oil, Skull and Snake Tattoo, my boy Dan Dedrick. Wow, I'm drawing huge blanks. I don't want to miss anyone, so I'm going to stop there. Yeah, my mom, my dad, everyone. Just appreciate it all.
No, well, I appreciate your time. Again, congrats on the win, my friend, and we'll be talking again soon.
Thank you. Have a good one, man.